So we're just exerting our rights as an American, and that's what makes it very special. So we will be welcoming the new board members. One I see sitting out here is Bill Wheeler, and of course Russell will be taking over as our new mayor, and we understand that Randy is out of town or not well. I mean,
He's out of town.
he's out of town, so you'll be swearing him in next time. So we welcome him too. I have before us the meeting agenda, and I will call for an adoption of the agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
A second.
Okay, motion has been made and second. Are we all in agreement? Okay, thank you, Russell and Judy. Okay, so I guess I yield now to Heather. Or how does this go?
That would be fine, Madam Mayor.
Okay, well,
We have a little special tribute for you and Miss McIntosh on your leaving us today. Not leaving us for good, but just stepping down from these posts. We want to thank both of you for all of your time, effort, energy, and willingness to serve. It's hard to get people who are willing to do that today.
this
And
is
It
true.
is good that we've been fortunate enough to have good people that are willing to do that. So we have a proclamation from the town of Burnsville, and I'll start with Miss Bunny, honoring Helen Bunny McIntosh. Whereas on November 28, 2017, Helen Bunny McIntosh, a lifelong resident of Yancey County and veteran educator in our local schools, was sworn in as a member of the Burnsville Town Council. And whereas during the following 4 years, Councilor McIntosh spent many hours attending to her duties as a town councilor, attending meetings, asking questions, and thoroughly engaging in discussions with citizens and staff about how to make Burnsville a better place to live and work. She was supportive of many town infrastructure projects, the building of the new Burnsville Fire Department, and important policy updates that will improve the town and its organizational function for years to come. And whereas small business entrepreneurs hold a special place in Councilor McIntosh's heart, as her family was a pillar in the Main Street business community for generations. As a councilor, she enthusiastically promoted the needs of the small business owners in the town. And whereas in August of 2018, Councilor McIntosh was appointed by the North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper to serve on the North Carolina Code Officials Qualifications Board, which has the primary duty of certifying code enforcement officials in North Carolina. No city, county, or state agency inspector may enforce the state building code without being certified by the Qualifications Board. The 20-member board is composed of engineers, contractors, inspectors, architects, educators, and city, county, and state officials. She served as a representative for communities with populations under 5,000 until June 30th of 2021, and traveled to Raleigh for full board meetings often. Whereas the town of Burnsville recognizes Councilor Bunny McIntosh for her leadership, wisdom, insight, curiosity, and unfailing service to the residents and businesses of Burnsville, North Carolina. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Burnsville Town Council does hereby express sincere appreciation and gratitude to Helen Bunny McIntosh for her service as town councilor from November 28, 2017 to December 2nd, 2021.
I can certainly say amen to that.
Well, it has
Yes, sir.
been my pleasure. I recommend I get a motion. But I recommend that a service on the town council to all who are willing to serve. It's an education and it is an honor. Thank y'all.
Now, we also have a proclamation to recognize outgoing Mayor Teresa Coletta. It's a proclamation proclamation honoring Mayor Teresa Coletta. Whereas on December 1st, 2013, Teresa Coletta, a lifelong resident of the town of Burnsville, former director of the Avery Mitchell Yancey Regional Library System, and daughter of former Mayor P.C. Coletta, was sworn in as the first woman mayor in the town of Burnsville. And whereas over the next 8 years, Mayor Coletta brought her passion for community service to the town of Burnsville, its staff, citizens, and businesses. And whereas, in her role as mayor, she led the town through an era of change and progress. Among her many contributions, Mayor Coletta prioritized updates to key organizational policies and procedures, thereby improving the efficiency and function of the town. She championed the town's Main Street businesses through her support for the Business Builders Breakfast Program, numerous merchant-led downtown events, and the Summer Evenings on the Square musical series, and in countless personal interactions with business owners to listen and learn of their needs and concerns in the business community. She lent her drive and constant support to the Burnsville Volunteer Fire Department to see the new Burnsville Fire Station completed. Mayor Coletta realized the importance of infrastructure to the survival and economic growth of the town. Early in her tenure, she partnered with High Country Council of Governments to secure millions of dollars of federal grant funding and no-interest state loans and grants to make much-needed improvements to the town's sewer and water systems. She represented the town on the executive committee of the High Country Council of Governments and the local travel and tourism committee. She was a strong proponent of moving the town to a manager-council form of management, which she saw as a step towards stable and steady town operations for the future. She took special pride in the maintenance of our beautiful town square, especially during the Christmas holiday season and the annual lighting of the Christmas tree by local school children. And whereas in her official actions, Mayor Coletta expressed her passion and belief in the past, present, and future of her hometown, a place she would put above all others, the town of Burnsville. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Burnsville Town Council does hereby express sincere appreciation and gratitude to Mayor Teresa Coletta for her service as the first woman mayor of Burnsville, North Carolina from December 1st, 2013 to December 2nd of 2021.
Thank you very much. And I might just add that we're leaving our town in good hands. Oh, okay, I'm still mayor for a few more minutes. I almost forgot. So we will now move on to the oath of office for Mayor-elect Russell Fox and also William Bill Wheeler. So if Judge Cabanis will come forward, he will now administer the oaths of office. And following the administration of those oaths, Bunny and I will release our chairs and give them over accordingly. Now, your oath will be following his, Bill.
Raise your left hand on the Bible, raise your right. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Thomas Russell Fox,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as mayor of the town of Burnsville,
as mayor of the town of Burnsville,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Thomas Russell Fox,
Do solemnly and sincerely
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina,
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
to the constitutional powers and authorities
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor
and that I will endeavor
to support, maintain, and defend
to support, maintain, and defend
the Constitution of said state,
the Constitution of said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution of the United States,
with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name,
I, Thomas Russell Fox,
do swear
do swear
that I will well and truly
that I will well and truly
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office of mayor
of the office of mayor
of the town of Burnsville,
of the town of Burnsville,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
to the best of my skill and ability,
according to law,
according to law,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I kept saying, Stacy, Stacy May. And I thought, what was he saying? Stacy May. He was saying, state your name. And he was then saying, somebody was saying, Stacy.
If you would, I need to place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right, and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, William Dwight Wheeler,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as town councilor of the town of Burnsville.
as town councilor of the town of Burnsville.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name,
I, William Dwight Wheeler,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
and to the constitutional powers and authorities
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor
that I will endeavor
to support, maintain, and defend
to support, maintain, and defend
the Constitution of said state,
the Constitution of said state,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name,
I, William Dwight Wheeler,
do swear
do swear
that I will well and truly
that I will well and truly
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office of town councilor
of the office of town councilor
of the town of Burnsville,
of the town of Burnsville,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to law,
according to law,
so help me
so
God.
help me God.
Congratulations.
I just feel honored and humbled to be able to represent the town of Burnsville again. Thank you.
once he has signed, we'll yield to Russell to lead us through items 4 and 5 before we adjourn for a reception. So, and Bill, if you'd like to have a seat over here at one of these tables, you may, over here.
Welcome.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, it's now yours.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item number 4 on the agenda. We need a motion to appoint a mayor pro tem. And I'd like to make that motion. Judy has done that for 12 years now, and I would like to nominate Judy for that. She's done a fine job in the absence of any time the mayor wasn't here, and I think she's done a fine job of that, so I'd like to make that motion.
I'd like to second that motion.
All in favor? Opposed?
you.
Motion carried. Item number 5 on the agenda, confirmation of regular meeting schedule. That's the first Thursday of each month at 6 o'clock. We just need a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor? Motion carried. And, so Heather, we make a motion to recess,
recess.
not adjourn, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Recess for the reception, and then you'll adjourn before you start. the
before you
next
start the
meeting.
regular meeting. Need a motion to recess?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll second.
All in favor? Yes, we're recessed.
We're in recess. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
again, congratulations. Please stay for the reception. It's not a very long one, so we hope you will
So we're adjourned. Out of that meeting, we'll open.
It's 5:59.
You ready to roll? There you go. Guys, we'll go ahead and call ourselves to order for the purpose of the regular business meeting for the month of December. It's not on the agenda, but we have to adopt the agenda for this meeting as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I do need to make an amendment to that. Jamie had asked if we could, he's got somewhere that he's got to be, so I'd like to amend that and put his report, which is 14B, with the, right after Michelle's presentation, under public hearings, or during presentations. So
I
can we
make
have
a-
an
yeah, I make a
motion?
motion to adopt the agenda with the amendment.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. All right, Ms. Coletta has something she'd like to say.
Yes, I just wanted to take a moment for the minutes to record that I sincerely appreciate the board's attention to letting me put a plaque beneath my father's name on the downstairs conference door. It carries his name, and now it will carry my name and address the fact that the first female mayor of Burnsville. So that will go on the door sometime, I guess, tomorrow or the first of the week. But I appreciate that and just wanted the minutes to record that. I believe you're going to do that, or not? I'll see to it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Chad, we have just one signed up for public comment. Danny?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, manager. Congratulations, Russell.
Thank you.
Bill,
Thank you.
I know that Judy and Denise is going to be very helpful, and y'all are going to be helpful, and I'm encouraged by the whole operation. Wish Randy was here so he could enjoy all of this, but I know he had a trip pre-planned and couldn't cancel it, and you know, if you spent that kind of money, you probably wouldn't want to cancel it either, so there we are. But tonight I want to talk about Tom Story. I am very saddened by the fact that Tom's time has come to a close. And I'm very satisfied that he is not in pain any longer, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for that satisfaction, but that I'm confident in. I've known Tom Story for 49 years, and between Arnold Wilson and Shane Dale version 1, there's a 40-year span from along about 1971 to 2011 that Tom Story, in my mind, was a very stabilizing force for the town of Burnsville. I never seen anybody that knew so much stuff about so much stuff. And when you ask him a question, you got an answer, and you know, he could back it up. There wasn't no, you know, I think, I don't know, or whatever. If he told you something, you could take it to the bank. Most of the time, I'd value his opinion above my own. And of course, we differed on a thing or two over the years, but we have certainly been together a long time. I don't know, how many people do you know that you can remember the first time you ever saw him? I can remember the first time I ever saw Tom Story. Roscoe Bailey went to work at the water plant. I just got my driver's license, and I went with Roscoe up to the water plant one day. Tom was up there. He had a little Nissan Datsun truck of some kind, And he had more tools and more tool bags and more voltmeters, and he even had a set of gauges like you work on air conditioning with, and he knew how to use them. Tom truly is short of amazing. The town was very blessed to have had him and had him for that length of time. Good family, great people. I will miss them greatly. But Tom and I, Mark Bennett sent us one time, put us on an airplane, sent us to O'Hare Field in Chicago to ride out in the Iowa cornfields to look at some new waste treatment technology. So we flew together, and then one day we rode in the back of about I don't know, it must have been a 93 or 4 Chevrolet station wagon. We rode all the way to Wisconsin to get a 1102 and a 1105 and drove them back to Burnsville. We went to Keith Grindstaff's house on Big Brush Creek one winter night in a blizzard when there wasn't nobody else going nowhere, but the house was on fire. The call came in. We took 2 fire extinguishers and went to Brush Creek in the middle of the night. We broke downtown Winston-Salem on I-40 one morning, going to Fayetteville to get some Army surplus trucks to come back and make fire trucks out of, and literally the wheel ran off down there where I-40 in downtown Winston-Salem does like that, and there we were. But it was about 4:30 in the morning, and we managed to, we managed to scrounge up enough stuff, get the wheel back on the truck and get on out of the way. So I could tell Tom story tales all night, but, and I won't, but the town, like I said, very fortunate to have had him. And that time has passed. 40 years, the town's been here, incorporated 1925, so out of 96 years, Tom pretty much steered the public works ship for 40 years. That's significant. And I just wanted to mention that. And he wouldn't want us to be talking about it. So I'll leave you with that. Remember that family. And thank you all for serving, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Danny. All right, moving forward, everybody had a chance to look over the minutes from the November meeting. Any comments on that, or motion to approve those minutes as read?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Take it. All in favor? Thank you. Michelle Ball, public hearings. So,
Yeah.
But that-
Michelle's gonna read
and then
the introduction. and
Unfortunately, it's 3 pages long, and I'll explain a little bit here in a second, but I just want to say, I hate to hear about Tom. I had no idea. I've known him I've been working with the COG for 23 years, and he was the first person that you called in Burnsville to find out something. And matter of fact, one of the last grants we did, I don't remember if it was the Indian Trail or the Peterson Trailer Park one, you have to go in and try to prove the age of the lines. It has to be at least 40 years. And his statement was airproof, saying that he had worked here and he remembered them going in, and they took it. So, but
Great.
no, I hate to hear that about Tom. But I'm here. This public hearing is for we're redoing one that was done back for the application for the Main Street Interceptor, this western side, that the town did receive a $2 million grant for it. However, they found that a street was left off when the original one was done, so now we have to redo the whole thing. And
Nice.
Unfortunately, that means I have to reread this 3-page document, so bear with me. I'm gonna have to run and get my water in a second, but anyway. This public hearing on December 12th, 2021 will provide an explanation and description of the 2020-2021 North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality Community Development Block Grant infrastructure. We are present to discuss the purpose of the public hearing for the Town of Burnsville CDBGI project. The purpose of the public hearing is to obtain citizen views and to allow response from the public to funding proposals and answer any questions proposed by citizens. The public hearing will cover the town's community development needs, development of the proposed activities, and review of the program compliance of the town's CDBG funding application to the state of North Carolina. It's already gone in, so this is gonna read a little funny. The town of Burnsville, they have received funding from North Carolina DEQ's CDBGI program for the Main Street Interceptor Replacement Project. The proposed project will meet the following community and housing needs for the town of Burnsville by replacing an old and deteriorated main sewer interceptor line along West Main Street, Highway 19E, Ferguson Hill Road, and Pine Swamp Road. That was the road we left off. Yeah, one road that collects wastewater from the entire town. It consists of replacing the existing 10-inch VCP pipe or VCP line with approximately 12,999 linear feet of 10-inch HDPE sewer line. The project will also include 120 sanitary sewer service taps, 20-point repair sewer service taps, and the rehabilitation of 58 manholes. That description will probably be adjusted a little bit. We've talked about it, but that was the original description in the application. The purpose of the CDBGI grant program is to improve the quality of life for low to moderate income people by providing a safe, clean environment and clean drinking water through water and sewer infrastructure improvements and extension of service. To benefit a residential area where at least 51% of the beneficiaries are low to moderate income as defined by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, to perform eligible activities, to minimize displacement, and to provide the displacement assistance if necessary. And for the fiscal year of 2021, the CDBGI available funding is expected to be $25.2 million. The maximum available grant is $2 million over a 3-year period. And Burnsville did receive a $2 million award for the project, and it is being distributed over 2 grants because they wanted to get rid of some excess money they had lying around. $125,400 was awarded from FY16 money, and from the fiscal year 20 money, $1,874,600 was awarded. So the only thing that really means for me and for Leslie that we have to do reporting on 2 different grants.
Right.
And one of them, the smaller grant, is all just planning money. So that'll and they want us to have it drawn down and finished by, I think by June of next year. Anyway, okay, the CDBG program is able to fund a wide variety of community development activities. The state of North Carolina has chosen to fund several activities: water and sewer infrastructure, neighborhood revitalization, COVID-19 related projects, and economic development projects that lead to job creation or retention. The infrastructure program, or CDBGI program, can fund a range of water and sewer infrastructure activities, including but not limited to the following. For water, projects that resolve water loss in distribution systems, projects that extend public water to areas with contaminated wells, projects that extend water lines to areas with dry wells, projects that assist with low water pressure in public water systems, projects that regionalize 2 or more water systems, and projects that rehabilitate or replace water treatment plants. For wastewater, it's projects that resolve inflow and infiltration to collection systems and surcharges from pump stations and manholes. Projects that to extend public sewer to areas with failed septic tanks, and projects that rehabilitate a wastewater treatment plant to allow for greater efficiency or compliance with regulations. The town of Burnsville will receive an amount of CDBGI funds not to exceed $2 million for the main wastewater sewer replacement project. The purpose of the town's request, repeat myself, but is to replace an old and deteriorated main sewer interceptor line along West Main Street, 19E, Ferguson Hill Road, and Pine Swamp Road that collects wastewater from the entire town. Consists of replacing the existing 10-inch VCP line with 12,999 linear feet of 10-inch HDPE sewer line. The project will also include 120 sanitary sewer service taps, 20 point repair sewer service taps, and the rehabilitation of 58 manholes. The project proposed by the town was identified in the 2016 Capital Improvement Plan and Asset Management Plan. A total of 100% of the CDBG funding will be used to benefit low and moderate income people. The project area is town-wide, and we use census data to determine that the town has a 55.67% low and moderate income population. As long as we're hitting that 51%, we're good. The range of activities covered by the CDBGI funds for the main sewer interceptor replacement project includes construction and environmental review, engineering design, construction administration and observation, legal activities, surveying, I'm getting close, and grant administration. The town of Burnsville is required to adhere to federal procurement requirements and other federal regulations, which include the American with Disabilities Act, Section 504, Davis-Bacon and related labor acts. They should adopt a citizen participation plan, an equal opportunity plan, fair housing plan, a language access plan, relocation assistance plan, Section 3 plan, and an excess force provision, which you all have already done in a previous meeting, so that has already been taken care of. The state of North Carolina requires that the town receives CDBGI grant funding, the state of North Carolina requires, if the town receives CDBGI grant funding, that the town will certify that they will comply with the requirements of the general displacement and relocation policy for the CDBG grant funding. The policy assists low and moderate income people with costs associated with relocation or displacement should such relocation become necessary due to the project activities. CDBG funds can be used for those costs if necessary. However, no displacement or relocation will occur as a result of this project. That's in there, and that's in every CDBG grant has to pass that policy. In the past, the town of Burnsville has applied for and received the following CDBGI projects, and they've been completed. Just CDBG projects. In 2005, CDBG Economic Development, there was $1 million received for the Altex sewer line extension, and that created 100 jobs, which that was then. I'm sure it's created many more. I'm not sure what they're at now. I know they're 350, probably 400 at this point, maybe more. In 2016, Peterson Trailer Park sewer line rehab, $900,000. It assisted 45 homes served with them with suction and wastewater disposal, and those were all. That was 100% low and moderate income housing development. In 2017, the Indian Trail Meadow Road sewer line rehab was $1,182,500. 37 homes in a 32-unit apartment building were served with functioning wastewater disposal. The town submitted its CDBG application for the main sewer interceptor replacement project. It was placed by November 23rd, 2020, which was the deadline. The CDBGI application is available for review during normal business hours at the Burnsville Town Hall, and it still should be available for anybody that would like to see it at 1 Town Square, Burnsville, North Carolina. Additional information is available from the town clerk, Chad Fox. And should you have any other complaints or grievances regarding the subject public hearing, they should be addressed to the addressee mentioned above, which is Chad, within 10 business days, or by December 16th, 2021. And a written response to the written complaints and or grievance will be sent to the town within or sent by the town within 10 business days where practicable. And we open the floor for comments and questions about the CDBG program and the proposed project.
I'm gonna have to have some water after that one. Thank you.
Surprised my eyes haven't crossed yet.
Thank you, Michelle. We need a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? We have one signed up, Chad.
Correct.
To speak, Danny McIntosh. Thanks again, Michelle.
I'm always happy to see Michelle in Yancey County. She usually comes with money. But this is an incredible opportunity for the town to replace aging infrastructure that, quite frankly, it has amazed me that it's lasted as long as it has. I wasn't but 8 years old, and I think that line consists of course, other than the turns at the manhole and street crossings and creek crossings, all that, 8-inch terracotta tile, 4-foot joints. And I'm amazed it's lasted as long as it has and worked as well as it has. But this is just a tremendous opportunity to replace that. And it's a very good project, and I'm certainly in favor of it. And appreciate everybody's hard work on it. I know these things are not simple. It takes everybody. Everybody's got to work on it. Everybody needs to understand it. And that work's just not easy. So I appreciate it. I think it's a good project.
Thank you, Dan. Motion to close.
Yep.
Need a motion to close the public
I'll make
hearing.
it. I'll second.
All in favor? All right. Moving on to item number 10. Jamie McMahon, so he can hit the road.
I appreciate it. Mr. Mayor,
Thank you.
Council, it's a pleasure to be with you as always. First of all, I'll say congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
County J personal friend, a long time. I've admired you as a public servant, member of this council for a while, and I look forward to your tenure as mayor. You're going to do a great job.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Bill, congratulations to you on taking a seat back on this council. You are an old pro. Not an old pro, you're a seasoned veteran. And it's great to have you back. And of course, Denise and Judy and Randy, we miss him here today. And I will say it'd be remiss not to say anybody who knew him work with Tom. That's heavy on all our hearts for sure. Thoughts go out to Jerry and the family. You knew Tom and worked with him. You wouldn't say he was a coworker or a colleague. You'd say he was a friend, and he was a friend of everybody that worked for him. It's certainly sad news. And I joined Danny and Michelle in that comment. Two things I'll mention to you. First of all, thank you for allowing me to move up on the agenda. I appreciate you accommodating me this evening so I can get on out of here shortly. Two things I do want to mention to you. We had applied for funding for water line extension to the Lily Farms project through Golden Leaf. We received news today that grant was awarded $1 million.
Good.
For that project. We were one of 5 communities awarded a grant out of the Golden Leaf's new industrial site program. They awarded grants to 5 communities, the largest of which was a grant to Yancey County, which was $1 million even. So we're very grateful for Golden Leaf's investment in that project, along with other funders, and wanted to share that news with you today. That in tandem with the recently enacted state budget and infrastructure funding coming collaboratively to the county and town through that recent grant award from Dogwood Health Trust to support infrastructure planning, engineering planning, and then a $2.1 million housing infrastructure fund certainly puts a lot of money in the pockets of county and town to begin to try to figure out how we can address some of the infrastructure needs that Danny's alluded to, certainly. So we're very grateful to hear that we've been funded from Golden Leaf. The tier designation was published for 2022. And if you guys are familiar with that, been around grant work and that sort of thing, you've heard the tier designation. The development tiers 1, 2, and 3 in North Carolina. Yancey County became a tier 2 from a tier 1, which is the most economically distressed in 2018. Going into 2022, we will continue to be a tier 2 county, but there's one thing that I do want to point out to you that comes with a little bit of bragging rights, I think, for the work that county's done, town's done toward economic development. You're ranked on a scale from 1 to 100 in 4 categories: unemployment, population growth, capital tax base, and average median wage. Yancey County scored a 75 out of 100. That means we are 5 points from being a Tier 3 county, which came as a surprise to me when we saw the tier designations released earlier. So that certainly speaks well of the work that's been done here for everybody to promote business growth and economic development. We're very proud to see that designation of the counties, the Tier 2 counties in the Asheville metro area. Yancey County has the highest tier ranking of those Tier 2 counties at 75. So I say that both to brag and also to say, cry a little bit, because if we become a Tier 3, that certainly makes it more challenging for grant awards and that type of thing, but I think we have some years before we hit that threshold, but I think it's certainly
Just
worth
keep
pointing
us at
out.
75 and we'll be good.
75. I'd be happy to stay at 80, but 81 gets you over the cusp. But certainly I wanted to share that news with you. So moving forward, 2022 will remain a Tier 2 county for the next calendar year. Unless you guys have any questions for me. Of course, we saw recently, Jody's got a good article, finally we announced the closing of the new Ray Inn deal and that transaction moving forward. We're certainly happy to welcome them here and the investment that they're going to make here in town, also with the renovation and expansion of the inn. That's all I've got for you.
You're obviously very instrumental in getting us up to that tier level that we're
Well,
at. We want to thank you
It takes a
personally.
team. One person can't do that.
I understand that, but we know what you do and we appreciate it.
We've been fortunate, and if we can continue to be fortunate and make wise decisions, and be proactive, address infrastructure, those types of things, I think we can continue to do well also. Thank you, guys. Hope you have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you,
And again,
Jamie.
appreciate you letting me slide up on the agenda.
See you, James. All right, we'll move on to our manager's update. Ms. Heather.
Now Heather will get to talk ad nauseum. Brian said in our agenda meeting that he was hoping that sooner or later I'd get from A all the way through Z. I'm trying.
You're working on it.
I'm trying. It's gonna start off with the FEMA update. We've been doing a lot of FEMA lately, me and Shane and Leslie. We have weekly calls with Ryan Germany, who is our FEMA project manager. We've gotten our projects, which there's a total of 5, submitted to them, and now they're going through the process of evaluating the projects and evaluating the estimates that we sent in and trying to make decisions about how we would get paid out for those projects and what would be eligible. And how this money flows, what we need to look at tonight, is how this money flows is it comes from the federal government to the state of North Carolina, and then we are a sub-recipient from the state. So in your packet, there should have been an agreement, or there is an agreement, for the state to administer our grant and me to sign that agreement so that they can move forward with that process. I found out, which I did not know, we're very lucky, the state of North Carolina is the only state, according to Kelsey, who's our state grant manager, that provides the 25% local match for all the communities that get aid, the local governments that get aid. Other places, the federal government provides 75%, and then the local government has to make that match. But North Carolina will match whatever match we have when we figure out what that is. So I would need a motion to authorize me to sign the agreement with the state for the grant process.
Make that motion. Yeah, second.
No, go ahead.
Judy in favor.
Do any of y'all have any questions about the FEMA stuff? What's going on with that? Try to answer it. It's a learning process, and as we found out in our call Wednesday, sometimes they don't agree with what they're trying to do. But anyway, our special order of consent with the state on our infrastructure issues. You know, we've been under a TAP moratorium for a long period of time now. And I finally have a final draft to review from the state. Nothing, unexpected there. They will lift the tap moratorium, 100% once this is signed. They are abating, I think our total penalty, to date was $55,800. They're gonna abate all but 10% of that, so we will have to pay $5,500, $55,080. And if, as long as we finish and complete our projects on the timeline they've given us, they will, not fine us anymore. Any SSOs that we have during the period that we're under this agreement receive a $250 fine. So that's a lot better than the $3,800 ones we've been getting. And any future, well, they all go back to that, but we did have an additional one that came in for something in May, and, that's part of this, so that's not gonna go up. Basically, the projects, I'll just let you guys know, we got credit for the, improvements at the wastewater treatment plant on the 0.3 treatment train. We got credit for the Meadow Road Indian Trail sewer rehabilitation. We're getting credit for the OMC pump station, rehabilitation and replacing the main pumps. And then we have Project 3B, which is, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but, the additional pump that we were gonna add down there, that we had some additional loan funds that we could put that towards. And that will allow us to send flow once the collection system is finished by the county to the East Yancey plant. It'll allow us to send some of our flow from Pine Swamp down there. And they need flow, and we can use less flow out here, as we make repairs on the 5 plant. Doing a rehabilitation on the Bakers Creek pump station. It's, I think, maybe older, Danny would probably know, older than what OMC was, or about the same era. And it started to give us a little bit of headache, so we, they want us to replace that. We have until December of 2024 on that one. Of course, the West Main Sewer Interceptor improvements, that's actively going on. The engineers had a construction date completion in May of 2024 also for that. And then we are asked to get funding, to secure funding by May of 2024, and to initiate engineering service contract by July of 2024 on overhaul and rehabilitation of the 5 plant and the rest of the equipment that needs to be taken care of out at the Pine Swamp plant. At the time we were talking about this, we weren't sure about where that funding might come from, but now we know that the state budget has passed, and part of the county's allocation, $3 million of that was in the budget and is going to come to us to undertake that project. So we're pretty, we're getting close on all of these things. The GIS stormwater mapping was another project that they wanted us to complete, and that has been completed. And as Jamie mentioned, the Dogwood Health Trust grant, we'll get funding out of that will allow us to complete the water and sewer GIS mapping too. So with the next 2 years, we should have all of that infrastructure on a GIS map, which will be very handy. So I think that's about it. I would just ask for authorization to sign the final draft once they send it to me cleaned up. It's still redlined where we've gone back and forth.
I'll make that motion. No, I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right, does anybody have any questions? I know, Bill, this is all brand new to you, hearing this stuff. If you've got questions, stop me or we can figure it out. The West Main Sewer Interceptor Project, engineers, deadline to submit their preliminary engineering report to DEQ is Monday. I've had contact with them today and they're ready to go, and, they've had back and forth with Shane primarily, getting some information. I think the next milestone, in that grant process is going to be, Michelle preparing the environmental report. And that's due March 31st, but you'll be hearing more from her and me about that in the future. The IDEX lab project for the North Main building, which was the old fire department, and currently is housing Public Works crew. Tomorrow, we'll have the students from Appalachian State. They're gonna be here from 10 until 4, presenting their conceptual designs. These aren't building drawings or anything like that, but it's the first step in seeing sort of where they're thinking what could be a good fit for this building, how it could be rehabbed. So that's exciting. We're glad to have them back, and I'm sure this is probably, most of them are, well, all of them are seniors except for the 2 graduate students that are leading it, and I'm sure this is their final exam, so they'll be here at 10 tomorrow. Our town hall elevator project update, we had emailed out our architectural plans to 6 or 7 contractors, have not heard back from anybody yet. It's a small project, and this is a time when a lot of people are overrun with a lot of work. So, I plan next week to make some phone calls to some of them and see where they're at and see what we can do, and then we may just have to look at contacting even more, casting our net a little wider to see.
What was the deadline that you initially gave them?
December 1.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was yesterday, so. The bicycle and pedestrian planning grant. I received the proposed scope of work, from the individual with DOT, Brian Lopez, who is in charge of our project. DOT picks their own consulting firms to do these projects, and so he had sent me that, and I think maybe the second week of November, I responded by their deadline of November 15th with some additions and changes to what we would kind of like to see, them take a look at some other areas than what they just had. I poked him about the contract earlier yesterday, and I haven't heard back from him yet. So I will continue to stay on that, but I'm sure with the holiday and everything, it's just taking them a little longer to change what we asked to be changed. You have a change order in your packet from the OMC pump station, this extra pump I alluded to, that I need a motion to ratify that amount. We were back and forth with the state to make sure that they were going to fund it. And all indication is that they will fund it out of the remaining loan funds that we have. But the contractor is ready to go and had a price and was afraid he was gonna lose his price. So the change order, Mayor Coletta had signed the change order, and we just need to get that ratified. That's part of our SOC requirement, and also, I mean, it's vital that at some point we can hook those 2 systems together.
So we need a motion to ratify
The change.
the change order.
Yeah.
Made it.
All in favor?
Okay, Jamie hit on the Dogwood Health Trust ARPA Advantage Grant that the county applied for. It was a collaboration with our partners at the county EDC and the High Country Council of Government wrote the grant. And it was favorably reviewed. The county will receive $2.5 million for the project, and in this funding is included $400,000 for various studies that are outlined in the memorandum of understanding. You all should have gotten a copy of it. Initially, we were just gonna do a resolution that we would enter into a memorandum of understanding, but then we were able to pass it back and forth amongst the different parties and get everybody's okay. The county will adopt it at their meeting next week. And then the additional 2.1 million that's going into a fund to wait for a project, we'll have another agreement when that comes out. But, definitely a great thing for us. We're not gonna have to, we thought we'd have to use the, state's AIA grant to get the rest of our mapping done, which requires a match, and there'll be no match to this. We'll also get a complete update of our, asset management plan and our capital improvement plan, and then another study that will be a comprehensive study of our current infrastructure capacity, both water and wastewater treatment, and then look future, come up with possibilities and ideas about where we can locate future water intakes, water plants, sewer treatment, where it's needed and where it can go, and what it's gonna cost, and not only to build, but to operate and maintain. And so we're excited about getting that good piece of information and data. And then there'll be a comprehensive housing study on all levels of housing, from affordable all the way up to high-end homes for the whole county, so we can see what our inventory is and where possible areas of development would be. And y'all can look for those RFPs probably in January on some of them. We're trying to get out ahead of the flood of money that's gonna come, and all the engineers are gonna be saying, we can't handle this. But I do need.
Need a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the county. I'll make that motion. All in favor?
Agree.
And you've already been updated by Jamie, and I've mentioned the money we'll be getting out of the state budget, so I won't go back through that. And then the remaining $10 million will be looking at towards future water and sewer expansion projects. Staff development, I wanted to update everybody, congratulate Chad. He's now a master clerk. He's a certified Jedi. He finished his class, and we're all a little afraid, but we're glad to have him at the helm doing what he does best, so we appreciate him. Brian is not here. We could talk about him a long time since he's not here, but he did complete his course and passed his test, and now he is a certified zoning officer, which is great that we have that on our staff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the last thing I need out of this report is for you guys to look at your calendars and come up with, some dates in January where we could kind of have a workshop for water, sewer, finance, and just make sure we got everybody on the same page, knows what all the projects we have in the hopper, because they're numerous, and get some input, some ideas going forward with spending some of this grant money, some things that you all might want to make sure we have covered in those things. So if y'all can come up with some dates, or let Chad know some dates. I know Randy's not here. Whatever
You want us to do
Looks
something?
like I
Do
don't have
something?
anything, so.
Yeah, I'm pretty well wide open in
Yeah, I'm
January, so.
Kinda wide open.
I mean, do you want to do an evening, a daytime, or whatever works for
What
everybody?
about you, Bill? What's
I-
best for
As
you?
long as I know before January for to make the work schedule, I can.
I mean, would it be better for you after work, or
It's fine, either one.
what about you, Denise?
Mondays or Tuesdays always work best for me.
Monday
But
or Tuesday?
I'm open in the evenings too. So whatever.
I'm good with whatever.
Yeah, if we could do it here.
Monday's probably better.
Monday's probably better here. To have the 13th, or the 20th, or the 27th, whatever y'all think.
Why don't we set it for the 20th, and then once you,
Oh, wait, I'm
Well,
sorry, I'm
it's
in the
on
wrong day
Thursday.
month, sorry.
I
It's
started to
still
say something's
December.
wrong.
Yeah, okay, so we have the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th.
let's do the 17th, and then once Randy gets here, because he's got a pretty set schedule.
The only
If-
thing with that day is I have an art guild in the side room from 4 to 6 p.m. Will that be an issue?
Oh, and it's a holiday, 17th is a holiday. Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
yeah, that
Yeah, it
won't
is.
work.
10 or the 24th.
10th.
Okay.
And then
Because I think I have something on the 24th.
if Randy was to be on EMS or something, we might could change that at that time, but
So the 10th, and you wanna say, I mean, I think a couple of hours, at most, 10 to 12 or something like that. Get lunch or whatever, all right. Okay. Tax report, you have a copy of it. Again, nothing real exciting's gonna happen with that until the 6th, when everybody's past due. I think collections are rolling along pretty good.
all right, thank you, Heather. We'll move on to Mr. Shane Dale with the Public Works update.
As far as the pavement condition survey, I really do not have an update on that. They did come, I want to say it was the 17th of November, and they have done their assessment, but I've not received anything back on that as what they've come up with. Just as soon as I do, we'll get something for y'all. The next thing that I have is the WIA, that's the American Water Infrastructure Act. I've got basically two reports that's got to be turned in by December the 31st, that I just need your all's approval that I can certify that through the state and through the ERP has to go to the EPA, so I just need your all's approval that I can certify them too.
Is that in a motion or? Okay.
I make a motion, you get certified.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. That's pretty much everything I've got, other than the weather's changing and there's all kinds of little water leaks popping up all over the place, so we'll
Yeah.
try to knock them out as quick as we can.
Thank you, Shane. Move on to Miss Leslie with her.
Okay, I sent out the budget first section on the overtime report, earlier in the week. And then the first thing I guess I have is this budget amendment. The first line is the fund balance appropriation, and all it's there for, acknowledging is that we're paying the closing costs on the OC loan, and that $25 we had to pay back from Ritter Road. I just needed to put it in our budget, so I don't get done for that. And then, Sharon's finished up with my audit, but she was telling me that I need to be moving these state citations, since we're sending those directly to the school board. I need to move them to their own special revenue, so I'm gonna have to create an 11 fund. And so, that's basically what I'm doing here. And so, you'll notice it's my lead, and you've never seen it, I thought to actually make it in the system. But it's the state citations receivable, and so I'm gonna increase it to 33,000, because with the trend, we have a new officer on first. He's cracking the wheel pretty much, so.
Yeah.
Is it, can I ask a real quick question? Is it state citations or town citations?
No, it's
It's
The state
state.
ones?
Yeah, anything that we,
Yeah.
knows on the state
Yeah,
revenue.
okay.
So, but what I done was then decrease our operating budget, the 25 that was in it, and then down here, I increased it, the expense to offset that. And, this is just the revenues, and this is the expenditures. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. And down here in the sewer line, it's just contributions to grant projects, and it's gonna increase to $25,061 comes up here. And these are just to offset. So you'll see that line come out of the police line, and we'll just have that extra 11 line that we will page for the line. Okay, does anybody have any questions?
We need a motion to approve the budget amendments.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
Now, am I correct, the state citations go to the school system?
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
and that's the reason that I actually have to do this, because it's
Yeah.
money we're giving to somebody else, because, we're just a fiduciary on it.
And we looked into it to see if we could keep it anyway, but you can't.
No,
You
we about got
can't.
in trouble one time over that, if I remember right. Yeah.
So, okay, and then the
motion to approve the project ordinance.
I make that motion.
Denise, you in favor?
Okay. Next one is the 125, and this is for that CDBG, that interceptor grant. It's just that plan of money that Michelle was talking about. It's that front-end money on it. And I think most of it goes to pretty much the COG, but, if you will just approve that one as well.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I think that's it for me. Oh,
Signature.
sorry, I forgot that, yeah, signature cards. Yeah, so, it normally goes that me and it had been clerk for a while, but it's Heather. And then the mayor is the signature, on the signature cards are the people authorized to sign the thing. So if you'd like to name Russell that, we just need a motion, because they'll need the minutes to, at the bank to use to do that.
I'll do that motion, it's nominate Russell.
Okay.
I'll
Second.
second it.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Leslie. We'll move on to Mr. Howe, Fire Department report.
Thank you, Mayor. You have the report of, our monthly report of fire calls. We stay in about the typical average of about 30. Our calls are up to 372 for the year. And they are pretty spread out again this month, different kinds of calls. We have picked up a little bit in fire alarms and structure fires as heat seasons come on. Also, on the operations side, we had our inspection on Monday, and the two-day inspection ended up being over about 1 o'clock on Monday. So he got done very quickly, and the 9E part of it is okay, which means we are a fire department and we can relocate to where we are. The Class 5 rating that we had, the ratings part of the inspection, we won't be notified. It can be up to 90 days before they'll notify us about that portion of it, so we'll have to wait to get that back from ISO to find out what the rating will be. We completed our annual apparatus service. All our trucks have been serviced as of today and gone through. All lights replaced, oil changed, filters changed, everything checked out on them. And we are continuing to try to move and get out of the way so other people can occupy the old space. So that's about all I have for the report.
Is everything going well now that you've been over there a little while? Everything?
Yeah, everything's going pretty good. Just a few little minor or door lock problems than anything. Some of the door locks are giving us a little problem, but
Is your ingress and egress?
Yeah, it's
Good.
working. It's working, and
Good.
the paving's been fixed, and that has helped a whole lot. We're making it okay. It's a little slowed down on the 4 lane sometimes about people letting you out, but we're managing.
Do you foresee maybe getting some kind of flashing light there for?
Well, Curtis Allen, who's on the fire department, works for the state, has talked to somebody with DOT, and they supposedly are preparing some kind of packet to send us about what they can offer. And so I'm waiting on that to come back to see what they can do.
A little bit aggravating if you have to go left there, isn't it?
It's a little bit aggravating, but you can get out. It's okay. We manage. People don't want to run in front of a big red flashing light road. You just have to ease out in front of them a little
That's
bit.
right. Thank you, Niles, for your report. Police department, Brian's not here. Are you gonna report for him, Heather? or-
Yeah, he didn't leave me any kind of anything for the police department, so I think they're okay. I think other than he said they are ready for whatever needed to be done at the parade, so they've got that all covered. On the zoning enforcement, we have finished our initial draft of the update on the subdivision ordinance, and we need you guys to make a motion to send that to the planning board in January so that they can review it, and then if they approve it, it'll come back to this board for a public hearing and a vote.
Okay. So we need a motion to send the draft of subdivision ordinance to the planning board for review.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, thank you, Heather. Mr. Corbin, town center update.
Yeah, so everything's been pretty good so far. This Saturday, before the parade, we have 4-H Christmas Bazaar. I mentioned that last month. So before the parade starts, come by, after the parade's over, come by and buy some crafts, perhaps. I think this month we have 16 rentals, and then the week after Christmas, we have scheduled work days or maintenance days. So I'm very excited for those. Just that's when we go around and do some of the extra work on the building that we don't really get to do throughout the year, like cleaning the ducts, painting the walls, and just general maintenance doesn't get to get done very often. So very excited to get back to that. Some extra work needs to be done around the building. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot. January's looking pretty good. It's booked up with about 18 events, I think.
Good.
Other than that, we're rocking and rolling.
Good, thank you, Corbin. All right, council member reports. I've got a couple of things I want to hit on. The Christmas parade, first and foremost. Who's available to ride in the parade? We got a lot of candy that's got to be thrown out there. Denise, don't shake your head like
Well,
that.
usually I can, but I have no one to watch the store this year, so I've got to be at the store. I'm so sorry, because you know
Okay.
I enjoy doing that.
Okay, Judy,
I can throw candy.
Bill, can you?
Throw candy.
Okay.
Bill's a good candy thrower.
Where would we meet?
Saturday.
Where would we be in line at?
You'd be up at the Blue Ridge Fitness Center parking lot,
Okay,
so,
what time would we need to be there?
about noon,
Okay.
I'll shoot you guys some,
Okay,
so, yeah.
I'm gonna get Shane's truck or Matt's truck, one, and I might just come and get you if you want me to, instead of you having to drive. I'll go get that truck and I can come and get you, or instead of you having to leave a vehicle somewhere, if that works better.
What time is that?
12.
12. I can pick you up over here, Bill, if you, whatever.
If you want, or we can just meet at the shed, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's just do that. That makes more sense. We'll just meet it.
Single vehicle?
Yeah, yeah. So, secondly, just to, kind of go off of what Danny started the meeting with Tom's story, been on my mind a lot the last couple of days as well. You know, growing up as a child here, there was a certain few names that when you heard it, you put something with it, you know, and Tom's name just went with the town of Burnsville. I was around Tom a lot, you know, when my dad at the fire department, that was the one thing that I got to do every week and the only thing I wanted to do every week was go to the fire department. And I was around Tom a lot with that. His son and I are the same age, and I did spend some time at their house growing up, and thought a lot of Tom. He was a great person, and 40 years for the town is that's a lot. And I just feel like that the town needs to do something in his honor, and what I would propose is maybe for council to think about between now and the next regular meeting. Just be thinking. I've got some ideas, but I just feel like something needs to be done in Tom's honor, because
I agree.
that's pretty special. Heather and I talked about a couple things today, but we'll just kind of put that on the agenda for January and come up with something to honor him. And thirdly, I'd just like to say probably should have started with this, but I'm honored to be here and look forward to working with you guys. People say you're crazy for wanting to do that, and my answer always was you guys. You couldn't handpick better department heads, better employees, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Every department is professional and does a great job. Got a lot of wisdom on the board. Judy, Bill, Denise, I've enjoyed being with you. And I truly don't differ this seat any more than I did that one. We're a team, and I look forward to working with you guys and with the employees. Danny, always good to see you, and love your interest in the town. And that's all I have. Does any council members have anything they'd like to report on? Or?
I'd just like to say I too am honored to be back and working with you folks.
Well, and I agree with Russell. We've got probably the best employees that any town has, so it makes our job easy.
Yeah, y'all make us look really good.
You do.
All right, moving on to advisory boards and nonprofits. Greg Usick is currently, his time has expired on the planning board, but he has agreed to go back on as an alternate. We have problems filling, sometimes we have problems filling those vacancies, and Greg has agreed to go back on as an alternate. We just need a motion to reappoint Greg as an alternate to the planning board.
Motion that we reappoint Greg.
And I will second it.
All right, Mr. Jamie has already came and gone. That leaves us to Christie.
Thank you again for having me, and congratulations, Russell and Bill. Good to have you guys on here.
Thank you.
As you mentioned, the parade's coming up. That's the next big thing the Chamber's doing. We've got around 75 entries, which is up about 30 from last year. And I will mention that somebody was in my office just yesterday and mentioned that Spruce Pine only had 45. So, our parade is better. But besides that, if you may have read in the paper, Pearson Riddle Jr. is going to be our Grand Marshal this year. He's turned 100 this year, and he is a World War II POW. So I'm pretty excited to have that as our Grand Marshal. Following that, next Friday, we're doing Merry Main Street, just a Stay Open Late promotion. We'll have live music in and around the downtown area. Shops will be open doing specials, and there'll be a little blow-up movie screen and playing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, some carolers, and also we will have a snow machine. So besides that, it's we'll see what else happens between now and then. We are starting our second month of the Yancey Leadership Program, and this month Lynn Austin's going to do our program on local government. So I'm sure she'll be mentioning town council as well. At some point, all of the leadership students are supposed to attend either a town council or a county commission meeting so that they can see government in action. So, but the last month's program went really well, and I'm really excited for all those students because they're really enjoying it. This month, we'll be doing business after hours at High Country Ceramic Arts, and that'll be on the 15th. And besides that, I'm just getting started working on the annual dinner, which is one of the events that you have scheduled for January in Town Center. So besides that, everything's going pretty well, I hope.
Good.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, well. we'll
Thank you,
just keep
Christie.
plowing. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, so it's that time now that we need to appoint a representative to the High Country Council of Governments. I'll make a motion, Bill Wheeler sit in on that spot.
I'll second that.
If you're in agreement with that. I'd already talked to him about it.
Done it before.
He's done it before, so we were just gonna put Randy in since he wasn't here, but he's not sworn yet, so we couldn't, but,
Is there gonna be any kind of meeting before our next meeting with them?
It's the third Monday of every month.
What?
The third Monday of every month is when they meet. The seventh.
so, I don't know if do you know if they'll meet in December or not? Cause the third Monday in December would be, yeah, that's really close to Christmas, I don't know if
Yeah.
they're.
I'll have to check on that. I'll check on that and get back to you and find out for December.
I made the motion and Denise second, or Judy second. Denise did. Judy's in agreement.
Well, you know, they have nice Christmas bags, or they used to.
You get something from every place, don't you? Always like those cheese curds from West Jackson, cheese curds, yeah.
Thank you for doing that, Bill. All right, there is no closed session. And, the next meeting will be January 6th. Oh, and just, on a side note, Town Hall, the way that Christmas, is falling this year, Town Hall will actually be closed for 3 days, Heather,
Yes.
as
we're following-
opposed to 2 normally,
Yeah, we're
but.
following the state, closures, that's what our personnel policy says, so since it falls on a Saturday this year.
It'll be the 23rd, 24th, and 27th that Town Hall will be closed.
And High Country is showing a meeting on the 20th of December.
There you go, you'll get your Christmas bag.
That's right.
We're looking forward to that one, aren't you?
Yeah.
Nice to
We'll
make
have to share.
everything for coffee and everything.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
You wanna go?
No.
You done.
I'm good.
All right, if there's no other business, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. We're adjourned.